give people in-depth analysis in terms of the elections.
Hello, as marketing department, we are ready for 2026 general elections.
As the programming team, we are ready for the 2026 general elections.
And in this coming election, as a newsroom, we promise to be objective, to be impartial, and to give you information with unbiased coverage. So follow Prime TV during this election period.
The transport and logistics is ready.
We, the reporters from across the country, are ready to deliver authentic, verified and balanced election stories as they happen.
The 2026 general elections are here. We are ready.
As Zambia counts down to the 13th August general elections, PTV2 Zambia is your trusted source for every major update, every key development, and every decisive moment.
Campaigns are underway, promises are being made, and the battle for votes has officially begun.
During this election season, we will break down the 2026 general elections, comparing today's political landscape with 2021 and previous elections.
We analyze campaign promises, scrutinize manifestos, and we bring you in-depth coverage in 7 major local languages. Most importantly, we'll give the people the voice.
In 2026, like we are 1994.
Because this election is all about the Zambian citizen. And when the votes begin to count, we'll be coming live from the Mulungushi International Conference Center, delivering verified, accurate, and up-to-the-minute results as they happen.
Stay tuned to PTV2, the home of breaking news.
Good morning, Zambia. Thank you so much for joining us on this very beautiful Friday edition of the Sunrise Breakfast Show. Of course, it's always a pleasure to, be here and, of course, have you watch this particular show. And we're just wrapping up another week, of course, full of exciting things, full of shocking things, and full of quite a number of things going on around the country, around the continent, and around the world, of course. So whether you are already on the road, you are getting the children ready for school, or just settling into the office as early as this time, obviously, you can catch the Sunrise Breakfast Show even on your phone as we are broadcasting live. That is on Facebook, PTV2 Zambia page, and you can also find us on YouTube at PTV2 Zambia. And for those of you that are still at home or are already in your offices, you can also catch the Sunrise Breakfast Show that is on TOPSTAR channel 110, and of course AZAM TV decoder channel 493. And obviously Fridays have a kind of energy that's not the same from the rest of the days, because we are just getting into the weekend, and weekends are for relaxing or catching up with family and friends, because we're always working during the entire week. So whether you be unwinding or just being at home, trying out all those recipes, definitely the Sunrise Breakfast Show is a great way to kickstart your weekend. My name is Rhoda. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm joined by my fabulous co-host. host, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning, Rhoda. You look absolutely fabulous.
You
yourself.
too.
Thank you.
You know, it's a Friday. We're a bit relaxed today. We're not in formal attires.
Yeah.
You know, uptight, reporting on the news. But how's been your week so far?
It's been eventful. You know, there's been so much happening with the verdict in South Africa of the Lungu family winning the case over the states. We've had discussions over the foreign exchange reserves. You know, a lot of conversations around that topic. And we've been also watching the World Cup, so it's been so much going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This week has been extra eventful. Yeah.
So now, obviously, before we get into the weekend mode, we need to look at something, that we all want to invest in, and that is our health. And it's very important to invest in your health. Make sure that you visit the doctor on a regular basis to just check one or two things. It doesn't have to be when you are sick, but there are certain things that you can drink, certain things that you can eat that will obviously help in terms of just making sure that your health is on point. So today we'll be talking about something very interesting, and that's chia seeds. I've heard some say chai seeds, but according to the spelling, I think it's chia seeds. And so you may have seen them sprinkled on smoothies and mixed into yogurt or added to oatmeal. They are very tiny, but of course, don't let their size fool you. Today we're talking about the seeds, and of course a simple food that has become increasingly popular because of the impressive nutritional value packed into every spoon. So now, before I get into it, I think you can find chia seeds at your nearest supermarkets. They are very much available. If you can't identify them, you can ask the people in that supermarket to help you identify them, and they are very affordable, I should say. So now, for starters, they are an excellent source of fiber, which is very well known, which helps to improve digestion and keeps you feeling full for a very long period of time. So if you're trying to manage your weight or avoid unnecessary snacking throughout the day, adding chia seeds to your breakfast can be a smart choice. They are also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, healthy fats that support heart health and may also help to reduce inflammation in the body. Chia seeds are also packed with antioxidants, which help to protect your body's cell from damage caused by free radicals. So they also provide important minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. All of these contribute to strong bones and healthy muscles. Another great benefit is that they contain plant-based protein, making them a fantastic addition to the diets of vegetarians, vegans, or anyone simply looking to increase their protein intake naturally. One interesting fact is that chia seeds can absorb many times their weight in water, forming a gel-like texture. This actually helps with hydration and can make you feel satisfied for a long period of time after eating them. So for those people that have a certain phobia, chia seeds are not recommended, because when you put them in water, they expand, so they look a certain type of way, and they're not pleasing for people that have phobias to actually eat them. So the best part is that they are incredibly easy to include in your diet. You can stir them into yogurt, that is plain yogurt for people that concerned about the sugar that is found in yogurt. Blend them into smoothies. You can sprinkle them over cereal or fruit, or soak them overnight to make a delicious chia pudding. That is actually the best. As nutritious as they are, moderation is still very important. Like we say in everything that we advise you to, journey on. You can start with small amounts, about 1 or 2 tablespoons a day. And of course, remember to drink enough water throughout the entire day. Since they are high in fiber content, they work best when they are well hydrated. And sometimes the smallest changes in our daily routine can make the biggest difference to our overall health. And chia seeds are certainly one simple addition worth considering. Now, we would love to hear from you. How has been your experience with chia seeds? I know a lot of people, already know the health benefits and they're taking chia seeds, especially in the morning. People who are trying to manage their weight, people who are trying to lose weight and not to overeat. Instead of taking supplements or, medicines over the counter, I think chia seeds are a great addition or, substitute, especially to your diet, because they are healthy and you know that nothing is added to it apart from you adding water to it. How do you prepare them? How is your experience? You can join in the conversation this morning and share your thoughts.
Yes, Rhoda, that's very interesting. I met a lady some time back who actually has a farm, and she's employed women to pick these seeds. But you see how small they are, they're pretty tiny. So I was interested in finding out how they harvest and how they, the farming goes about. But I think it's sort of interesting because it's a lot of work. It must be a lot of work, but they are very nutritious, as you've said. And I love to use them on my cornflakes and also in my water. I'm one of those. I love the way they are slimy. Yeah. And when they bulge and they are slimy, I love that. So I put that in my smoothies and I put that in my water as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we have quite a number of things lined up for you on our Sunrise Breakfast show today, but don't forget to indulge because we want to hear from you. Our Facebook page is PTV2 Zambia. You can leave your comments in the comment section. We'll be having a look at some of the stories making headlines and, of course, our newspaper headlines as well. As you know, there's so much going on, so we expect to see a lot of headlines in different newspapers this morning. And of course, we'll also be having a look at sports, knowing that it is a Friday. There is so much that has been happening, and just a recap of how some of the countries have performed in the World Cup, and of course also what to look forward to over the weekend. I know the men love their football, and so there's something that will definitely keep you busy over the weekend. But it's time to have a look at how we are going to prepare for the day, what to wear, and of course what to expect for the rest of the day. So let's get into our weather. Okay, that is what the weather looks like, just to, get your mind prepared and your outfits prepared as well before you step outside. Now, as we continue helping you start your day informed and empowered, it's time for one of our regular features, the money markets. So whether you are a business owner, an investor, an entrepreneur, or simply someone trying to make smarter financial decisions, keeping an eye on what's happening in the financial world is more important than ever. So let's see what the numbers are saying today and unpack the stories behind them. Let's have a look at our money markets. right, so that is what our money markets look like. Of course, you know, the kwacha against other currencies. I hope that, you know, that gives you an idea of how the economy is balancing this morning and, of course, for the rest of the weekend. Now, Kathy, what is on your mind this morning? You know, anything that you are thinking about?
Yeah, I think it's just that we're getting closer to the elections. I think that's the big subject and topic of discussion. We've seen a lot of campaigning heating up, a lot of parties now planning, and some of them going on the ground to campaign. So even us, it's time to look for our voters' cards to make sure that the cards are somewhere where we can easily trace them and find them, and really refining and defining our decisions on who we should be looking out for, who we want to vote for, and listening to all the messages that have been said. You know, Rhoda, someone was saying, oh, don't vote for a song because you love the song and it's got a tune you can dance to, and that that shouldn't make you feel like, oh, I like that party because of the song. Listen to the messages that politicians are sending out so that you can make an informed decision on who you want to vote for. So yeah, that's what's on my mind. I think as elections preparations heat up, we want to make sure that we're also following. And, you know, PTV2 is here to keep you updated on all that's going on. And as we move towards the elections.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind this morning is how we, you know, I don't know if it's long days, short nights.
Why? You think it's the daybreak is coming too early?
Yeah, I'm thinking the day is moving kind of fast. I don't know if I'm the only one, but the nights are longer and the days are shorter. So I'm thinking that this is the reason why, maybe it's not only me, but people are coming for work late.
Yeah.
We are coming for work late.
Yeah.
Like there's always, you know.
I think it's about even the weather, you know. When it's cold, people tend to sleep in, you know, want to keep warm in their beddings. But yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things.
Because, you know, I was rushing this morning. I was thinking about it. I look at the clock.
Yeah.
It's 5:30.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me relax a bit as I warm my water.
Yeah.
I look at the clock again. It's 6:30.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think for me, I'm really like an early riser because I love the morning. I love when it's cool and quiet and I can do some reflection. So I love meditation. So I wake up very early, but I don't manage my time like very well, like to do things in time. I really take my time. So I find that maybe that's how I would feel like, okay, the morning is not the best time for me.
Yeah.
Because I really have to get very organized, and I find that I'm very active towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know. So, but that's a good observation.
Yeah.
It could be something we look into to see whether it's actually shorter days, you said?
Yeah.
And longer nights. Yeah, that's something.
I actually think, but then I'm really having a hard time. So I think I need to re-energize, re-strategize as well, and think of a way, because I'm waking up, I'm trying to put one or two things together. I'm always rushing.
Yeah. I think mornings are busy. You know, you have, how many hours do we have? Like from the time that you can really be active is from maybe 5. And if you report to work very early, you only just have 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's really like not very surprising that you would be rushing through your morning, because if you are starting your day very early, you may have a short time within which to prepare. So maybe some of the things like you advised me on the other day, like you get some things ready before the day starts, like with the previous night, even though that's hard again, you know, because if you choose, for example, you choose the outfit you want to wear the next day, and you put it on and you're like, I don't think this is the one I want to wear, and you have to change. So yeah, I guess it's understandable.
Yeah. But also, let's just, you know, do what we can to make sure that we don't rush in the morning, because as if you ask me, it's really not a good feeling, because you know, you don't really have time to just think and set up for the morning. But some interesting news, you know, that I did come across yesterday on Africa in Perspective. Now, Zimbabwe's Senate on Wednesday overwhelmingly approved controversial constitutional amendments that would keep President Emmerson Mnangagwa in office until 2030. Of course, giving the changes full parliamentary support after earlier consent from the lower house. So now, amendments are among the most contentious political issues in the country, where 83-year-old Mnangagwa ZANU-PF party holds a strong majority in parliament and has ruled since independence in 1980, for the party, that is. So now, the bill also sailed through the National Assembly on the 18th of June when 216 voted in favor and 42 against. That is a lot of number, you know, that voted for the bill. So the bill will have to return to the National Assembly to sign off a technical adjustments before being signed into law by Mnangagwa as, you know, officially. So now what this means is that, you know, this means that the last of Mnangagwa's constitutionally limited 2 terms would be extended until 2030. Another amendment gives Parliament the power to appoint the President, doing away with direct presidential elections that were introduced in 1987, of course, 7 years after independence. So this means that Parliament will get to choose who will become the President, and they will do away with the elections that they have been having as a country. So now Zimbabwe's opposition, weakened by years of repression and, you know, tainted elections, charges that the measure will entrench ZANU-PF's grip on power in the resource-rich nation. And some organizations and activists have spoken against this law, saying, you know, it's not fair that a president has to be chosen by Parliament. So when Cabinet approved this particular bill in February, the plan to extend his term, it says this would enhance political stability and policy continuity to allow development programs to be implemented to completion. So this is what is currently happening in Zimbabwe. If this bill happens to go through and it is signed, meaning that Zimbabwe will not have normal elections anymore, Parliament will be able to select who the president will be. So Mnangagwa's term will be extended to 2030.
Because they're advocating for 7 years, sitting for president. You know, it's always concerning how African leaders want to sort of manipulate the constitution. I think we all understand that the constitution for a country is like the Bible, you know, in the Christianity religion, or the Quran in the Muslim religion or Islam. It's not something that you wake up and say, I'm going to change. And it's something that, like they say, it's a social contract that governments have with the people. So whenever you want to change the constitution, it should never come from the executive. It should come from Parliament, for example, through, because they're a representation of the people. So when we see that governments begin to push for constitutional changes, then we know there's a problem. So I really feel like it is it's terrible for African countries to be setting this kind of precedent. So it's not one that the judiciary obviously is agreeing with. So we don't know whether it will be passed into law. And we still want people to be the ones to elect a president. We don't want Parliament, because, you know, if for example, the sitting government has majority in Parliament, what does that mean? It means that the government or the party that's leading can keep going And I don't know how democratic that is. So I feel like it's one of those things that may get a real pushback and it may not go through.
Yeah. So now, before we get into our local stories, our local news stories, maybe another story that is trending across Africa. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa vowed on Thursday to crush any attempts to destabilize the nation during planned anti-immigrant marches next week amid a wave of xenophobia. Citizens-led group have set Tuesday, the 30th, as a deadline for undocumented foreigners to leave and called for nationwide marches against illegal immigration, marking a crescendo in months of protests that have at times turned into violence. So the unofficial ultimatum has stoked fears of a resurgence of xenophobic violence that has claimed several lives in the past. And the police have announced tightened security across the nation for the 30th of June, while government officials have stepped up efforts to ensure calm, including meeting the influential Zulu royal house. The country has been on edge following weeks of sometimes violent xenophobic unrest that has left at least 3 people dead, according to official sources. So now, this particular campaign has already, spared voluntary repatriations of thousands of foreigners from elsewhere in Africa, including Ghana, that we did see, Malawi, we did see this week, they went back to their country, Mozambique and Nigeria as well. So among Africa's largest and most industrialized economies, South Africa has long been a prime destination for people seeking work, even though its own unemployment rate hovers around 32%. So that is the update. We know that, this ultimatum that some of these groups have given the 30th of June for people to vacate their country is not official. It hasn't been announced in any news. It hasn't been given by the police. It's just these immigrants groups that are threatening people from outside the country to leave South Africa. So, the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has issued a warning, but this is not the first time we've seen him issue a warning. And the violence still continues and nothing has been done about it. So we just hope that, there is enough security in the country for those people that haven't left South Africa yet, that are still looking for means and ways to go back to their home countries.
And I think, some groups have been saying that they are not against everybody just leaving. It's only those that don't uprising by the citizens just expose an underlying issue that has not been resolved. So a lot of people have been commenting on the economic stance of South Africa, that, there have been problems like power shortages and just even water reticulation issues. There's just been a lot of economic issues within the country. So I think people are not happy and they feel like it's the external residents who've brought these issues because they've taken away their jobs. I don't think so. And maybe there are other issues, like even the lack of qualified personnel to work in South Africa. We know that apartheid sort of took away a lot of chances for a lot of people to get the education that's needed to do some of these jobs. So even the labor market is not up to standard, if we were to use that term. Maybe things now are improving, but they still need backup. That's why even they had a lot of people migrate to there. So all these are issues that the government needs to take care of. They need to listen. Like, a baby is crying, sometimes they throw tantrums, but find out why are they really crying. And that's the task of the government, to really look into the problem and see why South Africans are rising like this at this moment to chase away all their neighbors. We can't leave we can't just say we just want Zambians in Zambia. I think that's really a really not so acceptable way of thinking right now, because we are saying the world is becoming a global village. Let's embrace that. It's for everyone's benefit.
Absolutely. All right, so now let's come back home and see some of the stories in our news. We begin in Southern Province. Some parents in Livingstone's Nakatindi Township have complained that they are being asked to pay 3,000 kwacha to have their children withdrawn from Bunda Traditional Initiation Camp, commonly known as Mukanda. You know, when I saw this news yesterday, I was thinking to myself, we totally forgot about the Mukanda ceremony. I think it used to be talked about a lot way back. So now the concerned parents told PTV2 Zambia's Colombo Tamwana Ngombe that their children were allegedly initiated into the Mukanda camp without their consent. They expressed concern that some of the children are on life-saving medication, including antiretroviral therapy, which must be taken daily, but have reportedly missed their doses while at the camp. So now let's have a look at the details in this particular clip.
These are some of the parents that have raised concerns over their children who are alleged to have been initiated in one of the Mbunda traditional camps, commonly known as Mukanda, in Livingstone. One of the concerns raised is that they did not give consent to their children. They have told Prime TV News that they are being charged 150 kwacha per week for food, and also a 2,000 kwacha and a 3,000 kwacha respectively when they want to withdraw their children.
Mairo benzolemba ma exam sivanaende ku school titosa ndrama 150 ine parent sevens and malonda ni fola 900 kwacha 900 kwacha elo every week Saturday wamadna point opika 150 kumanje nizaka kwanisa kuti nikaende nikabe
nataba ini kupafira kwa tengi kuli mu 150 eyo kana nge izusiwa every week ani koni foni nzifa kuzwa mwana ke kwa inzi kwa winzi ndala mwenzi mwa kimalito na kukafa fitana nilito batichosele ko chebana because kuma school sibaenda vizaka chitika kunsanga ko sitiza kaziba isi maona kasote nzopempa chabe kuti abatichosele chebana nilibevo bapasa ine malubale kozi nabauza the very day bakaibo muchitavili vonse kuti mumuchose mwana uyo batiwe banalimbikira.
Others have raised concerns such as lack of taking life-saving medication, which some children are alleged to have been subjected to, coupled with poor diet.
Kona kuli ape baba mubana babona bainzi familiani kona ba miliani bainwa nitala au unwa nitala uterwa kibutata.
Some parents have stated that they are not Luvales but that their children have been initiated without their consent, calling on the government to come to their aid.
Nani molozi, ani muluvale. Nebaswa ne akunga maluvale. Fela, noti ni imishowe isiri. Twale tabayo ya ruvilaeza. Usodu kulifa ma 150 sunda ni sunda.
29 May. Abusa ni tuba ulea kuli. Ni batamwana ke malakwini milife akuna bani hanezi kwini bafe 3 pini twena 3 pini oni kwihola ni holi.
But the conveners of the Mukanda have refuted the allegations.
Fact the consent of the parents is a lie. Every time organize the kabas get boys go to school.
We have a permit from council, a permit from police. You cannot do this camp without the permission of council and the permission of police because of security reasons. The children are very, very much safe. These are the other people's children, but when they come here, they come into our hands where we take care of everyone who's here.
Kwalombota Mwanangombe reporting, Prime TV News in Livingstone, Southern Province.
Well, that's an interesting story, Rhoda. Like you said, we learned about this Mukanda ceremony when we were in, that was primary school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to learn, but we see that a lot has changed, and yeah, families are saying, don't take our children away from us. What do you think?
Yeah, but also maybe just to lighten the viewers on what this particular ceremony is. It's actually one of Zambia's most important traditional rites of passage. It is a male initiation ceremony practiced mainly by the Luvale, Chokwe, Luchazi and Bunda people in Zambia's northwestern and western people in Zambia's northwestern and western provinces. It marks the transition of boys into manhood through a period of instruction, discipline, and cultural education. So there's quite a lot that happens, but like Catherine said, we have heard a lot about the Mukanda ceremony, especially when we were younger. But, sometimes when we look at these traditional practices that we have in our country, in as much as it's very important to keep the culture alive and to keep the culture going, to pass it through the next generation, we need to look at the aspect of what harm is it bringing. One of the parents raised the concern of some of the children are on, antiretroviral drugs, which is very important and needs to be taken daily. But if you strip off that important issue from a child, meaning that they will suffer the results of not taking those drugs. So in as much as we are trying to preserve the culture, it's very important that we look at the other aspect as well. Getting children without their parents' permission or asking if this child has maybe a health condition or if they have, something that's beyond them. I think it's very important that there are certain rules that need to be followed, especially when you have to consult parents rather than grabbing the children away from their parents and not really looking at the other aspects, of life. Then it becomes harmful.
Yeah. So I think that though the kidnappings are said to just be like, they grab the kids, I think that they make announcements, for example, and they are planned, sort of. So parents, everybody know that this is going on in the village. So the makishi, they will see the makishi coming over and dancing and doing all these celebratory things, and every parent will know. So I feel like maybe, like you said, now is the time to rethink and re-strategize on how they do it. Maybe go to the council and see the people so that there's a better way of going about it. Maybe the kid, I don't know, but they should just rethink it, because if the parents are complaining in that manner, then it won't be helpful. Because it's a very important ceremony, because they say that they take the child and they teach them survival skills. Obviously now there's a lot of education, other things that are taken care of. They are circumcised, for example. So it could still be a very helpful ceremony, but maybe we could rethink how we do it in this day and age, especially even that circumcision must be properly guarded, because even with the all these diseases, even including HIV, if you're not using sterile equipment or even just things that are recommended, you're just using anything because this is a traditional ceremony, from one person you move to the other, it could be risky. So I think it must be properly planned, taking in consideration the times that we're in. Yeah.
And also, I think we should capitalize on the parents, complaints. They did mention about consent. I think it's in as much as we are trying to preserve culture, we can change it up a little bit. Like ask for consent from the parents, because I think it's not every parent that consented for their children to be taken to that particular ceremony. And for the fact that they are being asked to pay 3,000 kwacha, looking at the situation, that's a rural setup. Where is the parent going to get a 3,000 kwacha in this particular economy?
That's just to say we cannot give you your children back.
Exactly.
We have to go through with this ceremony.
If it means that that particular child is on drugs, which means that the parent cannot afford to pay that 3,000 kwacha, then that child's stay will be prolonged and they're not taking their medication. Then what happens if a child dies in that particular ceremony? So let's have a look at, we can balance tradition, but let's put human rights as well in that particular aspect. And I did see a post where the UNICEF and the World Health Organization emphasized that cultural traditions should be respected while also ensuring they uphold children's rights, health, dignity, and safety. They also encourage communities to preserve valuable cultural teachings while eliminating practices that expose children to harm. So whoever is in charge of that, I'm so glad that it has been brought to light. They need to consider the aspect of, what children are being exposed to. And also, this is really, sad, because there are certain ways that you can go about it. Maybe giving them like a 1 week, period or preparation period to tell them to say if there is anything that you need to do before you are taken in, then do it in this week. That gives a parent time to go to the hospital and take their child's medication and prepare them. That is actually exposing them to harm, if you ask me, because if you return them and they are in very bad condition or they are sick, then who is responsible for that?
I can only imagine my little nephew being taken away, and some parents will be like, no, this is not a traditional ceremony I want for my children. I don't want my children to. I think they should be given a choice. I think really it's something that just needs to be reconsidered. Okay, we move on to more news, and Rajesh Michael Simiza reports that residents of George Compound in Lusaka have called for urgent intervention to address a growing garbage dump that has become a major concern for the community. The residents say the waste pile has continued to expand over time, creating an unpleasant environment for people living by. Many fear the situation poses a serious public health risk due to the foul smell and the potential spread of diseases. They have since appealed to the relevant authorities to act swiftly and clear the waste before the situation deteriorates further. Here's a report.
A mountain of uncollected garbage in George Compound has sparked concerns among residents who fear it could lead to disease outbreak if urgent action is not taken. The residents describe the waste site as a health hazard citing foul smell, increased flies, and the potential spread of illnesses, especially among children.
George, chishara chitachila mwandu wangu taira chabea papa vishara tikambapo ba kansela banabwera kuchiona na kupita manyumba tinapita tinasonga mateni kwa tafuti ati yawe tibweze ichishara yayi tizabati yole papita che time sapa bantu keze kangono chinda che chikula nayo matenda paka kolera kuno sizatireka chishara chifunga chiolewe
mama pankani ya bishara hii bishara namba kudalo kita report since last year tikamba hapo chabe pankani ya bishara no help so tipempa kwa time ya campaign if you want a vote you come and help us.
The residents are now appealing to the Lusaka City Council and relevant authorities to intervene and facilitate the immediate removal of the garbage to protect public health and restore a clean environment.
Cleanness wambi twesa ngutati afumye fintu panganda yakwe palya asa kufutira panganda ambiawe nango yosi cleanness namwishiba eisuma motuleikala chachine tukaswa moto kautikala sende bishara about once in a week namba vyose tafichitika vyonse vimkwai wasanga abantu baleposa vega especially wasanga panganda pashira abantu abalekalapo epo bapanga nomba ni dumping place nomba ekuma yemkwai kwene namwishiba apa shi cleanness ni shinamalo ya fuye kusangwa hapo emkwai especially mu rain season emkwai echibasange kuti George wali wike kuti compound yakwata usali sana
monga mabini kaili monga pakati pa makomboni tizo kuti mamotoka siyanga ngene ni akulu but ngaziti shitirago she kwentinga zinda tifakira pamozi kumangarati bafaka vavma bafa vima container vikuru vija votera mu vimashara so that tikataira mu vikazura wabotenga so chewa bofaka hapo wakanso kaende nchito yao.
The residents hope that swift action will be taken before the situation escalates into a major public health crisis. Rajesh Michael Simiza reporting, Prime TV News in Lusaka.
Right, so moving on still in our news updates, National Reconciliation Party for Unity and Peace, President Brian Mundubile says his party will prioritize the welfare of Zambians over impressing the international community with economic statistics. Speaking at a mega rally in Katete, Mr. Mundubile accused the UPND government of boasting about having 6.4 billion US dollars in foreign reserves while citizens continue to grapple with poverty. He said once elected into office, his government will focus on improving the living standards of the people before celebrating economic indicators such as inflation rates and foreign reserves. Mr. Mundubile also pledged to implement a debt swap program for government workers to ease their loan burdens. We have more details.
Before we talk about reserves, before we start talking about $6.4 billion in reserves, we will make sure that transporters are paid. We will make sure that farmers are paid. We will make sure that civil servants have got their debts cleared. We will make sure that industries are opened. Chamele Kambila so is among our tonse. Tikanzelu kuwantu, stikanzelu kwa figures. Wanzatu wa UPND chamene lafuna ni kuenda kuwazungu. Nende walangiza kuti now our reserves are 6.7 billion. We are doing very well. We are doing very well. Our 6 point. Wana kuyumba walina njala. Wana walina njala. Ma reserves ni amene. Government in say imankana ma reserves. Ma reserves ni emergency. Suma mene. Pameta pesa nina na wanzanga. Na mukulu wanga HH. Afuna ndalama zinkale kuma reserves. Ma transporter kuno kukatete. Sumanda fule ndalama. Ma council workers wakala 6 months wana fule ndalama. Ma farma benzo fapa ma line. Benangu wanaluza manyumba. Ma contractor the whole country swafula ndalama. Now ma reserves yali important for emergencies. Chalo chatu lelo chimu emergency. Government yatu ise tizambo yambila ma local contractors bafola first before the foreign contractors. A civil servant mavutika. Ma civil servant mavutika. Ndawa government ina nkongole yanu wa civil servant. Ma allowances wanalipile na vasala. Mukuvutika na imwe. Munaenda kwenda kongola ndalama subamene. Pamene mwa kongola ndalama manje. Mapesli piano pali zero. So we are promising you that we will implement the debt swap policy.
Well, you know, that story has something in it, but I don't want to comment about the results because I know the people have said so much about that. But I want to talk about the debt by civil servants. I think that this has become a really huge problem.
Yeah.
And for me, now that I'm seeing that clip, I'm thinking the government has tried to employ more teachers and more medical personnel, but I think they're going to have a struggle in giving them quality pay, which is going to create problems in how they, live and manage their livelihoods. Because this credit and in Congole means there's a problem. Like, obviously, they're failing to manage. But as much as I know that today, because loans are so easy to get, everyone is advertising a loan. You can just dial this number, get money. People are getting money that they may not even have use for, serious use for. I just go and just get, I want 50,000, but then I have no repayment plan. And so you find that civil servants are going home with empty pay slips and checks or blank checks because they have all their money taken to service the loans. And do you think that the alliance, the Tonsi Alliance, is advocating for a debt swap? Do you think they deserve a debt swap where the Congolese forgiven, or they maybe arrange better ways of them paying back, but mostly they have a cut or their money, their creditors I think people need to be responsible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't have things on a silver platter.
Yeah.
And, saying that just because maybe probably you want civil servants to vote for you. I think there's a better alternative way. It always sounds easy, like when you are not the one in charge. But once you are put in that office, now things start dawning on you. Now reality, starts hitting you to say, how am I going to do this and that? So at the end of the day, we need to be realistic. We, the people of Zambia, also need to be careful not to, just because somebody said this, we are comforted or we are we are pushed, we believe and we say, sometimes, somebody mentioned that sometimes us, the Zambian people, we vote out of excitement because it seems like, we're going to, but let's just be realistic as well. In as much as the opposition likes to talk about what the current government is not doing right, let's also be realistic and look at things from a human point of view.
Yeah.
If somebody else was to be elected, would they sort out all these problems? Or, it's just campaign promises that when they are elected in office, they will also have to sit down and start sorting out issues one by one.
Yeah.
Let's just be realistic as well, especially for the opposition that speaks about the current government. I mean, the current government also has their way of, campaigning. So let the opposition not bank on, the current government's message to try and, belittle them or speak ill of them. Let each and every person speak on their own of what they are going to do, rather than calling out the other party and saying they haven't done this, we could do better on this and that. Just stick to your agenda and your promises as well. If the Zambian people want to listen to those promises, they will listen to those promises. If they don't want, then...
Yeah, true. I also feel like another angle we could look at it is asking people to live within their means, because nowadays it's a lot to do with what we see and how we see others, how the Joneses are keeping up. I feel like it's supposed to be, people must learn to live within their means. There's so much competition out there to who's driving the latest car, who's doing this and building houses. You find that civil servants get a small salary. I know a lot of them are enterprising, they're innovative, and they're doing a lot of businesses out there. But for those that are struggling, you work at the same institution with your colleague, but they're driving this huge car, and you're like, oh my God, I need to keep up, because and also I feel like the donor issue that we were so much exposed to has created problems for us, because the civil service became like the ultimate place people wanted to work in, because they were their salaries were cushioned by donor money and donor funds, with all the projects that donors would come up with. So they were used to getting huge monies. But now that the donors have withdrawn most of their support, especially the US government, we find that civil servants are now realizing just how small their salaries were. And now they have to maintain the standards. And so they have to sort of borrow to make up. So that's creating a problem. So I think we need to really look at this issue and address it, because it's a big problem. People, debt is not the easiest thing to live with. People, it's stressing psychologically. If you have people following you for their money, people are selling their houses. So I feel like it's a real issue. We need to pay attention to it and find solutions, real lasting solutions to the problem.
Absolutely. And, debt issues are quite sensitive. We're not judging anybody.
No.
Anybody can be in that position. But like Kathy said, let's learn to live within our means. I've come across people that have debts closer to even 150,000 kwacha, and you're asking them, what did you do with that money? They have a lot of, especially women, sorry to say this, but especially women.
Yeah.
They have a lot of, designer bags. You have all these wigs in your closet that you bought for 20 pin, 15 pin. What are you're not even using that money for it. okay, if it's somebody that says, I got Ngongole, probably I'm building, I wanted to restock my, the things in my shop, it's understandable because you are trying to make money out of that.
Yeah.
But there's so many people out there that have borrowed, trust me, Kathy, because they just wanted to keep up appearances. They wanted to buy something, you wanted to buy furniture, you borrow money. For what?
It's
and
crazy.
Keeping up appearances has really brought people to, to their knees because you now start posting on social media, help me, I borrowed from this one, 45 pin, I borrowed from this one. And now before you know it, your loans have accumulated. Now they're about 250,000 kwacha. You don't know how to pay that back. And this leads people to, start thinking about suicide. You are depressed, you're in the house, you don't know how to pay back, loans. We've heard of cases where people have then killed themselves because they just don't know how to pay back that loan. Some of these people come from good families where if you tell your family that you have loans, they'll definitely gather and help you. But there are people that don't even have families that they can bank on. It leaves you in a place where you start feeling sad because trust me, borrowing somebody's money obviously is tricky because you don't have sleep. You spend sleepless nights thinking about how am I going to pay back this money, and those people will not rest because they want their money back and they want to use that money for something. This is a situation they start taking you to court, and probably they don't want to take you to court because they know that the court will look at your capabilities of paying back that loan. They'll tell you maybe every month pay this person 400 kwacha this, and it's their loss because how long is it going to take for them to get back their money? So let's just be very realistic. If you are living in a house where you're paying 7,000 kwacha and things are not adding up, your salary is probably 10 pin and you're renting a 7 pin house, how is that realistic? What are you going to remain with? So let's just be realistic and maybe there are so many houses, even if people keep telling you, when in Mkombo, just move there. Those people will not help you pay back that loan. They will not help to feed you. They will not contribute anything. If your children go to expensive schools and things seem like they are not going really well for you, take your children to government schools. Keeping up appearances will kill us one day.
I tell you, we just have to watch out for our peace, because it's stressful. And, I feel like getting credit is like plastic surgery. If you do a little fixing here, then you want to do this side, and then your nose, and then before you know it, everything goes haywire. So even credit feels like, I can manage. I'll just get this small amount. But once you use it up, you want more, and it just keeps digging the we won't say grave, but the ground for you, and you keep going deeper into debt. So if you haven't borrowed, you want to borrow, think hard about it, and make sure, like Rhoda said, you use the money for something that is an investment and can give you back the money to pay back.
And also, maybe before we just, come out of this issue, also when you are doing that, think of, I know we always want to stay positive, but think of certain circumstances that would happen. What if you lose your job today? How are you going to pay back?
And Rhoda, to be honest, that's what's happened to a lot of people. Because, the job cuts that we've experienced, people had debt, and now without their jobs, some people were going out of work without really proper, compensation. So you find that people now had headaches. How am I going to pay? We are sitting here, and it may seem like a simple topic, but we know people that have suffered greatly. Some have had stroke. Young people, because of the credit that they have found themselves in that they cannot pay for.
Absolutely. So let's just live within our means and avoid some of these unnecessary loans, especially that they have absurd interests. You are paying double back double the amount. Imagine.
And if you miss 1 month with such crazy interest rates, then you are in for it. Okay, so moving on, our senior reporter Joseph Tamali Banda reports that government has dismissed accessions circulating on social media alleging that Zambia Army Commander Lieutenant General Geoffrey Ziyale has directed the military to enforce order before, during, and after next year's general elections. Speaking to journalists in Lusaka, Ministry of Information and Media, Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana described the claims as false and misleading. Mr. Kawana stated that Zambia Army does not seek to assume any role in the administration, supervision, or management of elections, as such responsibilities are vested in constitutionally mandated institutions.
All right, so right about now, we will take a short break and we'll come back on the other side to continue with our Sunrise Breakfast show. Just stick around for so much more.
Hello, welcome back. We're glad that you've joined us today on the Sunrise Breakfast Show with me, Kathy and Rhoda. Of course, we've had a lot of things that we've talked about. Sorry, take it over.
All right. Now, we do have quite some interesting stories in our newspapers as well. So today we'll be looking at what's trending in the Daily Revelation. We have the Daily Nation. We also have the Mass Newspaper. We have the Times of Zambia and News Diggers, the Daily Mail, as well as Real Times. So there's quite a number of headlines that we see in these newspapers. But as we continue with our headlines, we're also asking you if you have any comment that you want to, if you have anything that you want to comment on some of these newspaper headlines, feel free to.
Plan B for going to Dubai for printing of. Oh, no. Actually, this
South
is for,
Africa?
This is for the Lungu family, that should they want to repatriate the remains of the former president, the government could provide a plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Lungu family's response would be to that.
Yeah. So we haven't really heard much of what they have said just since the verdict.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know if they'll bury there, if they are burying now, if they'll bring the body here. We are still yet to hear. But something that's of interest that's been circulating online is that the lawyer for the Lungu family wants to sue government, or is it the Attorney General and some individuals from the South African embassy because of the kidnapping of the body. At that time when the body was taken from the morgue to another place. So we don't know how true that is, but it's obviously a developing story. Should that happen, or should we? There are a lot of fake stories circulating on the media platforms, especially social media platforms. So before you take anything as gospel truth, you have to check the facts and with authority. So that's the story that we've seen, being published on many media, social media platforms, even for individual pages, but we're yet to confirm whether that's true. Yeah.
Moving on, still on the Daily Revelation, there is a headline that says Mundubile is on a winning ticket, Simontani. So let's connect this one to what we have in the Daily Nation also that says Mundubile's main threat to HH, says Amos.
Okay, I thought Amos was with HH. I thought he was in the media team, or was he a consultant? Anyway, Amos has also been on the political scene. He's a journalist, so he can make his what's the
okay
saying?
So he says it says as he discloses that assessments are currently underway to establish whether support for the UPND has indeed declined in Lusaka, Copperbelt, to determine the current political standing of the ruling party.
Yeah, is he speaking on his own behalf, or is he representing an institution that's doing this research or assessment? I don't know, but well, I mean, it's clear. It doesn't even need a lot of scientific research to understand what's going on. We know that the two main parties that are in the forefront is the UPND and the Pamosi Tonse Alliance. So if we were to judge by what we're seeing, it's definitely Mundubile who is opposing the ruling party. Like we've kept saying, we are still waiting for the other parties to show us where they stand in these elections. We saw that the Socialist Party was launching its manifesto, I think it was on Tuesday or Monday this week. So we are yet to see how they perform, because maybe sometimes it's the campaigns that help to tell us what's really going on. Yeah, because when we see the crowds also is one of those parameters we could use to see if people are interested in what you're telling them or not. So far, we've seen the kind of crowds that Mundubile and his team have been pulling. We're yet to see the ruling parties crowd, because, Lusaka, Copperbelt, and which other place? Lusaka, Copperbelt are one of those main areas where people help, and even Eastern Province, that helps to gauge like how the parties are doing. So yes, Amos, we agree with you. Mundubile could be the main opponent to the UPND.
All right, so this other one says, let's defend our gains, Dr. Msokotwane. And we also have another headline that says, Mundubile Calabar agree to guard votes. I'm trying to see what's written here. It also says, it is not too late to join hands to work together to maximize the protection of the vote with the aim of ensuring the outcome of the August 13th elections would have to reflect the true will of the people to safeguard democracy.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I would like to see what kind of efforts and mechanisms they use to guard the vote. We told them that the best way they could work together was to come together as the opposition, because people were saying you won't put up a good front if you are segmented. So come together and join forces to make sure that you can at least provide a good alternative. Because for having the opposition, like the opposition are there to present an alternative government. Because we just don't want, in a democracy, you can't have one party, whether it's a ruling party or what, you can not just have one party. The goodness of democracy is so you can have multiple parties who can contest and give the people a choice to choose who they want. So now that they are seeing the point of working together, we want to see what it is that they are proposing of doing to work together so that they can present a good stance during the elections this year. And then Msokotwane says, let's defend our gains. I'm sure it's the policies that they've implemented so far as the UPND. They're saying, let's make sure that we guard whatever we've achieved in our term because losing means that all their efforts may not really come to nothing, but it means that they cannot continue with what they've started. Yeah.
Okay, what else is in the...
So we have the must, and it says UPND is a sinking ship. Its survival keeps diminishing every single day. Or every day, they didn't add single. I'm adding single because it feels like it rhymes with this. But it says UPND is a sinking ship. Its survival keeps diminishing every day. Then South Africa's xenophobic hate spooks truckers' body. What is this?
HH must state ready to accept defeat, Sishua says. And the other one in blue says Mundubile wins hearts of Nyimba Katete farmers, youth. I think we did see a headline the other day from Eastern Province where people were saying they will show them Dudumwezi, they will show the UPND Dudumwezi.
Yeah.
So it seems the people of the Eastern Province, as we know that they most of them are staunch, Patriotic Front supporters.
Yeah.
And so, this could be very easy for them.
Yeah.
In Eastern Province. But why do people do this though?
That
we have this thing in Zambia. If the current ruling president comes from this particular, a place or this province, then people will vote in numbers and show the other, the other opposition. They'll show them flames.
Yeah.
And I think this is what happens a lot, especially when you look at the issue of Dudumwezi and how they voted last time.
Yeah.
There was no hope.
Yeah. Okay. So we will also look at this. Shishua states, says that HH must state ready to accept defeat. So I think he was on a program on one of the stations where he was talking about the fact that the president needs to state beforehand to encourage his opponents to do the same, to say that when I'm defeated, if I don't win, I will accept the elections. Because Dr. Shishua was saying, this helps to give confidence in the voters that the elections will be free and fair if the president acknowledges that it's not only about winning, but also it could go the other way. So it will be reassuring for the nation if he says that if he loses, he will accept the loss. But maybe it's too early to speak because he's still yet to do his campaigns. Maybe he will make mention of this in those public addresses. And it's because it's a screaming headline, says UPND is a sinking ship. It's politics. It's a sinking ship for those that are not supporting it, right? It may not be the same sentiments that people that are for the party express, because obviously they have hope in their party making it. So, we're yet to see what happens, because the elections are the determining factor in declaring the winners and the losers. As at now, all that each party is doing is just to put the other one down so they can have more advantage. So when we hear that one party is being told to be a sinking ship, we know that people are doing politics, but it's up to that party to work hard and express its plans to the people so they can make a decision for them, should people like what they're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so we also see another headline here that says Revolt rocks UPND as 13 ward officials ditch party. I mean, we do see this a lot, especially when we're headed towards the elections. People go where they feel like there are greener pastures,
Yeah.
What really is sad is that people follow the winning team. In that case, if they feel like that particular party is not really serving them what they need to be saved, they go to the other party. And what's sad is that if they feel like where they're coming from is greener pastures, they go back again.
Yeah.
I don't know what mechanism is used, but this party members or leaders need to really put a policy or a strict rule that you can't just go back to, you know, this particular party just because you feel like it's happening this side. And I think we've seen that happening a lot.
Yeah.
You know, people do that without shame, and that's the thing.
Because
you see them celebrating when just a few days ago you were speaking ill of this particular individual or this party.
Yeah.
You know, when they say politics is a game of, you know, where you are being fed well, people are not joking about that.
Yeah, you know, because in other places, like we've talked about the U.S., where there's the Republicans, the Democrats, those people do politics based on principle. You will never find, people have said, you never find people cross from this camp to this camp. It doesn't happen. It's rare. If you are born in a Republican family, you will forever be a Republican, or maybe you will change as time goes on. But usually, people don't cross from this side to the other side because they don't follow a party based on
what they offer.
Yeah, or what they can give them. You know, what they call politics of the belly. You don't do that. You go by the principles, by the ideologies that these parties bring to light. So here, it's like, oh, where is the money at? Where is the money at? I need to join that party. People are paid to leave this party and join another one. People want to be bought to form alliances. So it's not about principles. It's not about ideologies. It's not about anything. It's just about whatever. And that's not good. You know, we need, if you align yourself with the UPND, for example, it means you agree with what the UPND are saying. And if you agree with what they're saying, there's no way today you just wake up and change and say, oh, I'm going to this other party, you know, because they're saying something that for example, we saw this clearly with the PF. They were a party that were advocating for the poor in society. Michael Sata made it clear that my party is a people's party.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the UPND, we also saw that they were big on the economy, you know, changing the economy on economic promises. So you leave the People's Party, you go to the economy, and you are so confused in the process, you end up confusing everybody. So I feel like we need integrity to stick with a party that resonates with what you're saying and not just wishy-washy and moving around. And also UPND here, it seems as if it's not doing very well on the ground, because we have seen even on social media a lot of people from the party complaining that there's no regalia, there's no money, you know. We may see this kind of thing happening because people during campaign want to have the resources to use to campaign. So if they don't have the resources, we may see a lot of them jumping camp to where it seems more lucrative. As we have heard, people don't stick with a party because they believe what you're saying. They want to eat. So if you're not giving them, they will move to another party. And that means that you will lose. You may end up losing. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to the Times of Zambia, where we see a headline that says its fourth Proto campaigns, HH Alliance Partners Kick Start Campaign Trial, and campaign vendors HH issues Sten warning. Tazama presents 120 million dividend to state. Sokotwani bashes Mundubile. Okay, these are some of the headlines.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So let's look at this one where it says campaign vandals, HH issues 10 warning. I think we saw where a poster of the president and his party was pasted with something else, like a head of another opponent. And the president wasn't very pleased about that. I think we also had a topic here where we had I think we've had experiences of these kind of activities of vandalizing in support, or maybe to just send political messages across. So we should avoid vandalizing because they are coming at a cost. And so let's stick to supporting what they represent, you know, political party messages. It's like, it's the same thing as someone is on the stage talking about their party and then you start throwing stones. That's also not very advisable, because I've seen that the president was complaining that some people have been paid in Lusaka to stone people when they're UPND officials when they do the campaigns. Also, that is a kind of violation and vandalism we don't want. So people should stay away from vandalizing materials that are meant for campaign. It's a very bad habit, a very not acceptable behavior.
Okay. We move on. I think let's go to News Diggers, because we have a very interesting headline here that says Mundubile is down, says Sokotwane as netizens mock candidate over Forex reserves ignorance.
Like I said, this is a topic that has raised a lot of debate. The national Forex reserves are there, as the party, the UPND has tried to explain, to cushion the economy from external pressure. That's what they've said. But to call Mundubile down is because it doesn't sound right. No, it doesn't sound right. Nice. Because what he's saying, his message is that, okay, you are boasting you have reserves, but people are saying they can't keep up with the economy, with the cost of living. What's the point of doing such a thing? I think we heard in that clip, the news clip, where he was saying he feels like this government has been doing its best to impress international officials or the West, that they have done a good job because now they've improved the Forex reserves and they've done this and the inflation is this, because they are big on numbers and we know that that's what the West love. So I don't think he's down. You know what? Msokotwane may feel Mundubile is down, but he's sending out a message that resonates with voters on the ground. Because as we have said, what is Forex reserve to an ordinary citizen who is just talking about how much they can afford a bag of meal.
You're saying there is this money.
You know, so those are things that are brilliant. We want our country to have Forex reserves. That's good. But it doesn't help much if the economy cannot be one that sort of reflects this fact that we have a surplus, you know. So we want them not to underrate anybody. These people have been politicking for a while. They know what the people want to hear. And if they're saying what people want to hear, people will vote for them, despite the fact that you as a government or as a party, you've managed to put up things that have helped you to have these economic changes. Yeah, people really, the message should be simple enough for people to understand and relatable. Yeah.
Okay, so I see a very interesting headline here that says Iris condemns UPND's failure to act on people calling her prostitute. So we know that Iris Kaingo is actually standing in Mwandi.
I thought she was an independent.
She was standing, she wanted to stand for UPND, under the UPND ticket, but she wasn't adopted. So instead she opted to stand as an independent because she has a huge following and she has support from the people of Mwandi. But the problem is that when you go to social media and, she posts something about her wanting to just have people's support. And even though she hasn't been adopted on the UPND ticket, she still wants UPND, to support her in her quest to stand as Member of Parliament. But people are still bringing up her past. And that's the thing about, social media, or something that happens that, everybody knows. People really just never want to get away from what happened to somebody in the past. They still want to drag, people move on. And she underwent counseling. She underwent through a lot at that particular time. And she decided, I want to change my life. I want to stand for a good cause. And people still try to bring her past. And now she's saying she condemns UPND's failure to act on people calling her a prostitute. What we need to know is that you can't control whatever people say on social media. And honestly speaking, this is campaign season and people are busy. You will not see anybody, Iris, you will not see anyone come to your aid or help you to condemn whatever that people are saying on social media. People are busy doing their own things. People are busy campaigning. And I don't know if she expects anybody, the president or anyone from the UPND administration to release a statement to say, stop saying this about this person and that. I think that she also needs to remember that where she's coming from, we haven't really seen, she was with the PF before.
Yeah.
She was with the Patriotic Front before, and I think she had a good relationship with that particular party, and she was supported by the PF's administration. But we haven't, even where we're coming from, we haven't seen anyone from the UPND, openly come out and saying they are supporting Iris Kaingu. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
But then she also needs to know that, people are actually busy, and it's up to you to just put a blind ear to, a deaf ear to those people that are saying things about you. What she needs to know is that people will always bring up the past, but it's up to her to stand up for herself and say, this is what I want, this is the direction that I want to go into. You need to be thick-skinned to be a public figure or to stand in a government position.
True, because, that's why people say politics are dirty, because they'll dig on you. Your opponent would dig on your past. Maybe they will even pay people or incite people to call you names. But if you are not thick-skinned, like you said, if you're not tough enough, if you're not ready, you will begin to pay attention to those things, and they can discourage you from sort of presenting the kind of image that you want to do. So I think we all sort of have a past, something maybe we're not happy about, something that we may, if it resurfaces, we're not so pleased to learn of it or hear people say things about it. But it's something we have to accept, to say, okay, this happened to me, but even though people say this is what I think about myself, and that's what matters. So I feel for her, if it's something that she's not proud of and it affects her, I think that it's not very good for people to do that. I think especially she's a woman, she's paid her price, they should just let it rest and give her a chance. If you mess up in your past, it doesn't mean you have to live by the wrong things that you did. People change. And if she wants an opportunity, let them go to the ballot and say, well, you are not the right person. But meanwhile, let her say what she wants to say, and let's give her a chance, and let's see where it all goes. And for her, like you said, maybe she shouldn't expect too much from the party that she has left. And we know that almost all of the independents that are from the UPND haven't had a good relationship after they left the party. So she's on her own, and maybe she needs to look for other allies, like the NGOCC, women that can help, that have support for women, or other women organizations to stand with her and support her through her journey.
Yeah. Okay. And any other headline that you feel like speaking about before we get to the Daily Mail?
It says stick to campaign timetable. ECZ tells candidates. I think that this is something that's important, so that we don't have stoppages in campaigning. And ACZ did say that they will have penalties they will penalize parties that don't stick to the timetable. So I hope that all the parties involved in the campaigns will stick to the timetable so we don't have interruptions.
Okay. Move on to the Zambia Daily Mail, and the main headline here says it's criminality. Stakeholders condemn vandalism of HH election posters. I think you did say something about issues to do with vandalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
National Reserve's comments show Mundubile unsuitable to lead the country. Government plans $275 million energy boost. Dropping food prices push inflation down. These are some of the headlines that we see in the newspaper.
Okay. I always feel like when I see dropping food prices push inflation down, I want to run to the JCTR because they do the food basket. I want to ask them, so how are we doing? But I think besides a little drop in milli-meal prices, we haven't heard much of the cost of living coming down. But yeah, these are figures that can be manipulated during election season. So we hope that there are genuine indications of what's going on with the economy. And the energy boost, this is a positive move. But the problem with development or activities of an economic nature that happens, or the growth that happens during election time, is not believable. You know, there can be announcements, sentiments that are sent out to the public to gain votes. So people are always skeptical when they hear, oh, this $1 million plan is. So as you can see, this says government plans $275 million energy boost. It's a plan. You know, people would have loved to say government has opened this $275 million energy plant. That's what we want to hear. So if it's this, then it's a campaign promise, you know. And looking at the paper that's carrying it, this is a public media. So yeah, we take this with a pinch of salt. Then it says National Reserve's comment. I think I talked about that, but we cannot judge Mundubile based on this comment that he made. Like we said, he's speaking to his voters and the people supporting him. So it doesn't make him unstable. I think this is too much. Yeah, I don't think it makes him unstable because it was based on his reasoning to say we shouldn't boast of having so much money in our reserves, and then our economy isn't doing well for people to manage.
But it's good to see that there's a lot of, you know, competition and the opposition is being spoken about. I think where we're coming from, it was always, you know, the opposition is not united. There's so much wrong-goes. But now that, you know, Mundubile is catching eyes, it's good to see that there is, you know, we're now seeing that we are ready for the elections. It's campaign season indeed. We can feel it. Yeah, and so you know what they say: if you're not being talked about, then
you're an non-entity.
Okay, so let's go to the last paper, the Real Times. There's a headline here that says, "I will shoot you." A 32-year-old polygamist of 3 wives has been arrested for allegedly defiling his 14-year-old stepdaughter several times and threatening to shoot her using a shotgun he uses for poaching if she disclosed the abuse.
Is this in Zambia?
I think so. Yeah, it is.
Wow, people do that. Wow, that's crazy.
Very, very sad to see.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, he deserves to be arrested. And he has many wives, and then he wants to also abuse. How do people think? It's absurd.
And then there's another screaming headline here that says, $1 billion for what? Former expatriate teachers dismiss claims by rival group suing GRZ over gratuity. Is this one headline?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't understand that headline. So I really can't comment
Issues
much.
of gratuity. I mean, there's really a struggle of, companies paying gratuity to their workers, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think our labor laws may need to be more strict on making sure that companies comply with labor laws. Yeah, because you find that a lot of institutions, organizations don't observe a lot of things. And people are afraid of reporting because they want to keep their jobs. So maybe the government can look into how they can visit some institutions to see that they comply with all the regulations, so that employers can have what belongs to them and what they deserve.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right, so those are some of the newspaper headlines that we have for you this morning. In case you have anything to say, any comments or contributions, please feel free to come through to our Facebook page, that is PTV2 Zambia. Right now, let's have a look at our Today in History. Right, so our sportsman is not here still to update us on sports till further notice, but we get into some of the stories that are trending in the world of sport. We start with local. Chipolopolo boys winger Chipioka Songa has set his sights on improving his debut season in the Israel Premier League. In an exclusive interview with the media, the Hospital Tikva player said he wants to pick up where he left off last season when the 2026-2027 campaign comes around. After helping the team win promotion to the Israel Premier League, Songa netted 8 goals in all competitions with 3 assists before a head injury ended his season prematurely. missing out on the final 10 games due to a concussion protocol. Now, Songa says the Israel Premier League is very competitive, with every game being like a final, as even the small teams give the traditional big teams a good run when they face off. So Songa was one of the exciting young players in the Israel Premier League last season, helping the Petah Tikva finish in the top half of the table. So now the league was won by Kings Kangwa and his teammates after an exciting season. That is one particular headline that is making waves in Bosta Sioma's signature. Now, the winger Bosta Sioma has attracted interest from the two MTN Super League sides, Mighty Mfulira Wanderers and Green Buffaloes. So, Sioma is set to leave Mutondo Stars next month when his contract comes to an end, and of course the media just learned that Mfulira Wanderers and Green Buffaloes are keen to add him to their respective rosters. So Sioma played a vital role in Evergreen Mutondo Stars' survival, as most of you remember, in the MTN Super League, playing both as winger and as wing-back, scoring goals and assisting. He scored important goals, including in the winner over Nkwazi at Arthur Davis Stadium and the equalizer in the 2-1 win over FC Muza. So now Sioma joined Mtondo Stars last August, where he penned a one-year deal with Evergreen as a free agent after the expiration of his contract with the NAPSA Stars. The Shamwell Academy product initially joined NAPSA Stars on a season-long loan deal in August 2022 before signing a 2-year permanent contract. Prior to this, he spent a season on loan at Ndola Best side games during the 2021-2022 season. Sioma spent the last 6 months of last 2024-2025 season on loan at now Super League bound Makeni All-Stars, where he was instrumental in, of course, helping the team to win Lusaka Provincial Division League. Kathy?
Okay, so, it's still World Cup time, and there's been a lot of events going on there. On Monday, we saw how the Egyptian team was stopped from traveling to Seattle after the win against New Zealand. They could, they wanted to go over and stay there for the ahead of the Iran game, and they were stopped, and that raised a lot of dust. But that's what's happening in the US of A. So we have some teams that have moved on to the second round of the games. We have Czechia, which stand the US in a 5-goal thriller. Even though the USA had already clinched the top spot in Group D, their final group match against Turkey turned into a classic. Backup center-back Aston Trusty gave the Americans a dream start with a goal in the 3rd minute, but Turkey fought back brilliantly with strikes from Arda Golier and Baris Alpier Yilmaz, Sebastian Bethal. I think they'll kill us for these names. Berhalter equalized for the US in the second half, but deep into stoppage time. Kan Ayan capitalized on a rebound to score the winner, securing a shocking 3-2 victory for Turkey and handing the co-hosts their first defeat of the tournament. Well, the US has been doing well. This was their first defeat. Then we have Ecuador, which shocked Germany in one of the biggest upsets of the final group stage fixtures. Ecuador pulled off a stunning 2-1 victory over heavyweights contenders Germany. The win successfully punched Ecuador's ticket into the round of 32, proving they are a serious threat moving into the knockout bracket. And we saw that Australia also made it into the second round, and there was Group F, wrapped up with a tight tactical battle in Dallas. Japan took the lead in the 56th minute after a brilliant team move finished by Dyson Maida. However, Sweden hit back just 6 minutes later with when Anthony Ilanga curled a spectacular strike into the far corner. The 1-1 draw successfully sent both nations through to the round of 32. And we have South Africa's national team, which put off an emotional and a historic 1-1 draw against South Korea, completely defying pre-tournament expectations back home. The crucial performance secured their progression to the World Cup knockout stage for the first time in the country's history, setting up a round of 32 fixture against Canada at Sophie Stadium. So that's a big win for South Africa.
Congratulations.
You know, we owe them those congratulatory messages because, you know, everybody in Africa was like, oh, South Africa with this xenophobia.
Yeah.
And now they may just become our favorite team after all.
Absolutely.
And then we also have the 2026 Zambia Ladies Amateur Open Golf Tournament officially tees off today, June 26th, running through June 28th, 2026 at the Lusaka Golf Club.
Yeah.
The event is a major highlight on the regional golfing calendar organized by the Zambia Ladies Golf Union, ZLGU. It features a massive feature of 154 female golfers bringing together the finest talent from across the continent. I think this is something that may be interesting to watch. Do you have interest in golf, by the way? Do you have any interest in golf? Why not? You know, my dad was a golfer, and, you know, so from the time that I was young, I used to see him go and play. And sometimes he would take us all to go and watch him play.
Oh,
so
nice.
right now at home we have little holes.
Oh.
And then we used to play the golf, but now it's our niece and nephew that uses. Every time they're visiting grandma and grandpa, they run to the golf clubs and they want to play around. So
Oh.
I think it's an interesting game, although they say it's a game for old people. But, you know, we watched a lot of golf growing up, and so it would be interesting to see the ladies play.
Yeah.
I love the way they dress up and just it's so.
We should go.
Yeah, I think so.
On a golf date.
Exactly, we should.
Just an update on the African teams for the World Cup. We did see that Ivory Coast also secured a place in the World Cup round of 32 after beating Curacao 2-0 in their final Group E match on Thursday. And of course, the Ivorians finished second on 6 points, level with group winners, like Kathy said, Germany, who lost 2-1 to Ecuador. So now this marks a historic breakthrough as Ivory Coast advanced to the knockout stage for the first time in their history.
Wow, that's great. We see that our African teams have really put in the effort. What happened to Tunisia? I would like to know whether if they were not spoken of, maybe they are not going through. We would have loved them to go through because there was one coach that we're all looking out for. He made us win the Africa Cup of Nations, and that's Yves Renner. So we would have loved to see how he would have performed at the World Cup, but maybe they should have gotten in touch with him a little earlier.
Yeah. Quite some interesting news there. I think that since it's a weekend, you don't have to struggle. You know that you wake up at 3, you know, sleep a bit and then wake up and prepare for work. You can wake up as many times as you want to watch the World Cup, especially if you don't work on Saturdays like us. But that's all we had for you on
What are
today's
your
edition.
plans before we go?
I have no plans at all.
I want to come and get you so we can go running, because you know running is the in thing. So you're not.
Well, is
sleeping
it
in.
that the running that's happening?
This weekend?
Yeah.
I wish Jeremiah was here to tell us about it.
What running are you talking about? You just want us to run?
Yes, of course, in the morning, just to keep fit. So I'm on your doorstep early in the morning tomorrow.
Kathy, you're going to drive all the way to come and get me to
I
start
don't
running.
mind. And I don't mind. So be ready. But what else do you think you're going to do during the weekend?
I don't know. literally don't have plans. I just want to be indoors. Like, this weather is really not favoring me.
Yeah.
I was saying it to myself when I was leaving the house that I can't wait to come. I was looking at the bed. I'm like, I can't wait to come back here.
Rhoda, no, somebody needs to take Rhoda out on a interesting adventure this weekend.
I would love to try, maybe mountain climbing. If there's a hiking, a small hiking.
Yeah, there's a hiking group that I know that I've been doing very well, and they've got plans throughout the year. So yeah, I can hook you up with those.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Okay.
But well, thank you so much to our dear viewers. Our director is not giving us, time to just tell you what our plans are. But definitely, it's going to be a great weekend. I know that weekends that are not planned turn out to be the best weekend.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I wish I could say, unfortunately, we have to go like the other day, but we're definitely excited that we are going. But we'll be back on Monday, refreshed, re-energized, and just keeping you updated with what's happening around the country and the continent. Be sure to stay glued for our first news flash at 14:30 hours, our second one at 16:30, and the last one at 18:30. So you're definitely guaranteed that you'll be updated with some of our news stories. And don't forget to visit our Facebook page, that is PTV2 Zambia. On behalf of the entire production crew, from me, myself, Rhoda, and my co-host Kathy, goodbye and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Goodbye.
We are ready to give people in-depth analysis in terms of the elections.
Hello, as marketing department, we are ready for 2026 general election.
As the programming team, we are ready for the 2026 general election.
And in this coming election, as a newsroom, we promise to be objective, to be impartial, and to give you information with unbiased coverage. So follow Prime TV during this election period.
The transport and logistics is ready.
We, the reporters from across the country, are ready to deliver authentic, verified, and balanced election stories as they happen.
The 2026 general elections are here. We are ready.